Are you ready to branch out, to take a leap of faith, to love yourself and others fully? Then let go of whatever no longer serves you to take action now on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, and letting it go. Erica will energize and excite you to power up your passionate dream that sets your soul on fire. With Erica's E3 approach, equipping, empowering, and enlightening yourself so you can be yourself for yourself. Get ready and get rooted to live a life without regrets, without what ifs, without should haves, and especially without empty feelings from a life unexplored. This hit show helps you build powerful and intentional roots to live it up, love it up, and let it go. Get fearlessly ready and powerfully rooted in your yes with your host, Erica Gifford Mills, and be fearless about your more and stand in your yes. Now on Get Rooted Radio.
Welcome, everyone. I am Erica Gifford Mills, and you are listening to Get Rooted Radio. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go, right here on Transformation and Talk Radio. A big shout out, as always, to my producer today, Moxie. Moxie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Erica. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful. I cannot believe it is the middle of June. Summer in Wisconsin, anyways, is definitely here. I think we're in the 90s today. So it is extremely warm, which to me is wonderful. I love it. Today's episode, I am so excited about it. It's titled Get Present So You May Dance to Heal. And if anybody's ever danced before, even a little bit, even just joking around with a child, you know how much energy that brings you and how much joy. And being present is pivotal when actively focused on healing through movement. And today, my guest, Jenny C. Cohen, and I will discuss emotional mental fitness and the mind-body connection through Jenny's outside and mastery approach. Jenny's Dance to Heal wellness program focuses on reconnecting your exterior protective shell from your inner knowledge in revolutionary ways. But first, a little bit about my guest. Jenny C. Cohen believes in a world where everyone can dance to heal and feel safe in their bodies, knowing they are created in beauty and perfection in spite of life happenings. And I couldn't agree with her more. As a fellow breast cancer and complex PTSD survivor, Jenny created the Dance to Heal program and podcast. She shares her love of outside and mastery for emotional fitness and to end internal over busyness. So with that, welcome to my show today, Jenny. Thank you so much.
Erica, thank you so much for having me. Hello, Moxie.
So I met Jenny a couple months back. We were at a conference together, and then we were both awarded International Impact Awards for our coming up recent books. So you've got a great guest. I've got a great guest for you listeners here today. So let's just kick it off, Jenny, with who are you, right? Tell listeners who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, you ready for a ride, listeners? So I'm Jenny C. Cohen, and contrary to my name, I'm actually a Taiwanese Jewish American person. I immigrated to the States when I was just shy of six years old. Now, I grew up in the Boston area, and I'm currently married almost 31 years. Can you believe it? It flew by. Now, I've homeschooled my fraternal twins through IVF to college. I specialize in fostering neonatal kittens, and I currently have 12 cats and 2 dogs, and I live in Salt Lake City.
I love that. So how did you get started in everything that you do? I mean, tell me and to listeners, right? I don't want to get into how the Dance to Heal started, only because we're going to get into that next segment. But why did you choose your current career, and how does that flow in to what we're going to be talking about during the next segment?
I love this question. My career of origin is actually an occupational therapist. I was drawn in volunteering as a young teenager before college to this amazing camp in Martha's Vineyard called Camp Jabberwocky. and it was for children who were very involved with care. It was a break for their families, and it was for children who are usually wheelchair bound to have a real camp experience. We would take them in the Camp Jabberwocky bus every day to the beach, and it was so freeing for them. And I would do it for 4 weeks. Normally, counselors would come in for 1 to 2 week rotations. I fell so in love with working with giving children this real full life experience. And I went back many years. And there I met an occupational therapist who said, you know, this could be a job for you. Children love to play. Occupational therapist, short for OT. We love to enable people to play. And also the goal of an OT is to help our clients. They were called clients back then, help our patients now go where they want to go and do what they want to do once they get there.
And I think that's awesome because it leads to helping others, right? And that's, I mean, that's your core is how do we help others and really want to succeed at that. So I have to ask, 12 cats and 2 dogs. I mean, how?
I'm making that, you know, like that big wild smiley face right now. All right. When I was young growing up in the States, because I immigrated here when I was 6, my parents come from rural country areas of Taiwan. They grew up with a lot of animals. They did not want any animals in their homes. So I begged and pleaded, and even once snuck in a kitten, who was then subsequently given up to the Humane Society a few nights later. I have always been drawn to animals, and we started fostering kittens during one of my daughters, and I have permission to speak on this topic, went through a very hard mental fitness situation. And so we started fostering kittens as a way for her to stay in the present. And you have to be present with baby kittens. They're very delicate. It's every few hours you need to take care of them. They're not just left in their little crates. You have to feed them with bottles. I almost said breastfeed for some reason. You have to bottle feed them. You have to stimulate them to go to the bathroom. You have to monitor their weights. And it was one of the ways that we kept my daughter alive. We kept her alive for 2 years through fostering kittens. When the panini happened, we started to bond with some of these kittens, and they became a part of our families. So more often than not, we started keeping a whole triplet of kittens. And that's how we ended up with 12. We actually at one point had 13, and I called it 12.3 to not freak people out. But we had 13 cats at one point.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So clearly at your very core, like I said, you are a caring, emotional individual. And I mean emotional, meaning caring, not emotional. Which I think really probably helped you in many ways in going down the next avenue of your career path.
So full disclosure, this amazing audience of Erica's and also on Transformation Network. Full disclosure, before I healed, I served for safety. I served for safety because if I served, then how could anyone not want me around, right? That was a limiting belief that I came up with in my childhood when I was put in situations where I had no control. And the only way was to be safe, to be useful. So yeah. Now that I've healed that part of needing to be serving to be safe, I serve naturally and I'm really good at it. I think we all are when we're very healed at our core. We are all very helpful and loving. And especially when it comes from I'm really whole and I'm helping you because I'm coming from a place of wholeness.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So I want to take a quick break because we've got some fun stuff to talk about, and hopefully even when we have enough time at the end, a little demonstration. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to learn more about how Dance to Heal came about. But before we go, Jenny, tell folks how they can reach you.
Yes, you can find me on any social media or even on my website under the name Jenny C. Cohen, Cohen.
Thank you so much. You are listening to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. If you missed any portion of today's episode, you can catch it on getrootedradio.com. That's getrootedradio.com. Don't forget to subscribe online to receive the latest news, events, specials, and words of encouragement. Go to getrootedradio.com. Welcome back to my guest today, Jenny C. Cohen. Jenny, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Erica.
So during the last segment, listeners got to know a little bit more about you. And now during this segment, I'd really like to hear and know more about how and why Dance to Heal started, and maybe even what is Dance to Heal to begin with, and then how did you get started in all of it?
I've always danced. I've danced since I was a child. When I finally convinced my immigrant parents to let me take a class, I was finally in 4th grade, I think. And I remember how safe I felt. I felt a sacred connection. Now I understand that it was sacred. All I know when I was a little girl, when I walked into that ballet class and started moving and feeling connection with the community of little girls in that room and the teacher, was how fun it felt for me. And now as an adult, I understand the neuroscience behind it, how when you dance with music that you really enjoy, it lights up every part of your brain and it unites it versus our everyday, we're compartmentalizing. When I started becoming a grown-up, I guess you could say, I couldn't dance, and it felt very limiting, and I started to feel a disconnect between my body and mind. When I found it again when my kids were about 4, again, it was this reminder of how sacred it really was. And during my breast cancer treatment, actually before when I was first diagnosed, I remember, I've got to keep moving. That's all I remembered, sticking in the back of my head. I've got to keep moving, not realizing how incapacitating the entire process of treatment would become. You know, you're nodding and understanding, right, Erica?
Oh, yes.
Right? What sane person sits there and lets medical teams who are gowned up in 4 layers of gowns with a face mask, with 4 pairs of gloves, I'm not exaggerating, come up to you and pump poison into our bodies and just lie there complacently, right? I'm doing rabbit ears, complacently because we want to live, right? And we go back. For me, I went back 16 times for 16 cycles of different chemotherapy. My first 4 treatments, they nicknamed it the Red Death. I mean, come on, right? So I would dance throughout the chemotherapy to remind myself that I was still living. It also gave my family a break because I would go away. I would have friends come and pick me up. And there were times as I got closer to the end of my 16 treatments, I actually could not dance. I would just sit there in the space and feel the exchange of energies and feel a replenishment in almost my will to live.
It's so hard. And I was laughing, and it looked like I was laughing, but I was laughing in acknowledgement because it is when to even touch the bags, you know, they're not even touching the liquid, they're touching the bags, and they're putting a glove on, putting another glove on, putting another glove on. They're putting several layers on just to carry in the chemo treatment. And you're like, and you're putting that into me, you know, you're right into the port, right? Come on. You do need something to give you that sense of wanting to go forward, right? And that energy, especially when you have none. And, you know, I love that you continue to do it for as long as you can, because that is what we need to do many times, is find things that's going to push us through. And I think that is, again, what's important, right? We have to find something we love that can continue to make us and make us want to move forward. And I love that is what you did with, Dance to Heal. So that's how you kind of got started in it, right? You have all this, you wanted to continue to move forward. But for those who don't know, what is Dance to Heal?
Dance to Heal is a way for you to connect mind and body. There's research now where people are actually saying your body is actually your soul, because your body is a sentient being. There are nerve cells that reflect, that are similar to the brain, you can find in your gut and your heart. So your body itself is trying to fulfill everything you want to do, even to the detriment of itself. Think of marathon runners, Olympic athletes, right? The body's going, you really don't need to do this, but you want to run that 25, 26 miles? I'll do it for you. All right, it's not going to feel very good afterwards, but let's go. So for us, we need to connect, and it has to be a two-way street though. Our bodies hold all the answers that we need most of the time. And if we don't listen, the whispers will eventually become screams. For example, I have a perfect example right now. I'm in a place where I need to let go of certain things that don't serve my life for who I am now, because everyone, you're changing always, whether or not you want to admit it. Okay, if you're healing, you're changing. And there are certain things I'm still holding on to. And I started getting tendonitis in my elbows. And then before that, I had heel pain, really severe heel pain that I muffled it by just wearing sneakers during my cardio classes. Now I have severe tendonitis, and it's only when I started to let go of things that I did not serve me anymore. I used to stack schedules, y'all. I triple book my time, so I'd be on 4 different computers on 5 different Zooms, right? So you let go of some of those, and then my tendonitis started to go away. And now, right now you're going, oh, wait a minute. Are there signs my body's already telling me of what does not serve me or what does serve me, and I'm not listening? So Dance to Heal is just one of those fastest ways to connect that immediately. When you dance, especially to something you personally recognize as music. I have clients that love birdsong. I have clients that love the sound of rain, that love the sound of waves, and they associate that with music. When you move to that, you are literally, they've documented this with scientific experiments, and they hook up electrodes. Every part of your brain lights up and unites, so you're fully present.
And that is so important. I think, honestly, with anything that you do, that you are fully present. I mean, even you think about it, it's that mindfulness. When you're eating, are you practicing the mindfulness eating? Or are you sitting at your desk in front of your computer in between types, shoveling food in your face, right? I think this is similar into the fact that if you're not present in your own body while you're doing it, what benefit are you going to get fully? You're not going to fully reach that benefit.
Exactly. Your program is focused on getting rooted.
Yep.
To get present, when you incorporate movement to some form of sound, you will get rooted very quickly. There's no discipline necessary. You don't have to build up any muscles for it. It does get easier, I promise, to want to do it and incorporate it in your life. Honestly, let's be honest, most of us, right? If you have music blasting and you step out of the shower because you feel so free, you're grooving and driving a little bit as you're toweling yourself off. Yeah. That's the moment you're actually present.
Yes. Well, and I love it because you think about it in the car, right? I joke with a friend saying that if I call you while I'm driving, you must be pretty important, because that's my music time. I can listen to anything I want. Nobody can judge me for going from some hip hop to some country to some hard rock, because it's all out there. But I think it is important that, it picks up your mood, or it elevates a mood, or, the sad songs, right? or anything like that. They invoke a response. So how can listeners learn more about the Dance to Heal program? That's all out on your website, correct?
Yes, it's on my website, and I'm actually doing a fun free masterclass this coming Sunday on the 23rd at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. It's totally free. Come and dance with me, and I will guide you through the whole process of what I usually do with my clients. It is accessible to you. It's free. I want the importance of the understanding. When I talk about outside in mastery, I'm not referring to me on the outside manipulating you. I'm talking about your outsides. Physicality is one of the quickest ways for you to connect mind and body. Really, truly. Because if you're dancing, you're going to be able to go, oh, wait a minute. If Jenny cues me to do this and I do breath work on top of it, oh, now I understand why I feel this feeling when this happens, because you're learning to listen to what your body's trying to tell you.
That is so important. So this Sunday, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, and they can go to your website and they can get all the details of the information on where it's at, how you can register.
Yes, well, they have two options, really. Honestly, you can do, if you want to get the email, which will come out like every day for the next week to remind people, you can go to danceandheal.com, and there you already have a gift class and a gift to stretch with me. And you can also go to Dancinar, DANCINAR.JennyCCohen.com, and that will bring you right to the registration page if that's what you prefer.
Awesome. So let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about how all of this and more can assist you listeners. Before we go, Jenny, again, tell folks how they can reach you. And one more time, that event that you have on Sunday.
Yes. So you can always find me on any platform under Jenny, JENNYC, Cohen, COHEN. You can take a free class with me under danceandheal.com, or join me on my masterclass at Dancinar, DANCINAR.JennyCCohen.com.
Thank you so much. I am Erica Gifford Mills, and you are listening to Get Rooted Radio. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're back on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Don't forget to visit GetRootedRadio.com to listen to a replay of this episode, sign up for helpful tips, and learn about upcoming events. That's GetRootedRadio.com. Welcome back to my guest, Jenny C. Cohen. Jenny, thanks so much for being on the show today.
I'm so excited to be here, Erica.
Well, during the last two segments, we learned more about you and how the Dance to Heal program started. And now during this segment, I really like our listeners to hear how all of this can help and how it does help your clients. So tell us a little bit more about the outside and mastery approach.
I wanted to quote my favorite quote from Carl Jung. It always gives me shivers when I share it. So may I share it with you?
Yes.
All right. Until you make the unconscious conscious, life will happen and you will call it fate. So let that hit you again. Until you make the unconscious conscious, life will happen to you and you will call it fate. Everything in your life is in your control. That is a truth smack. If you feel any resistance to this, what I just said to you, you need to work with me. If you feel any truth to this, you need to work with me. Why? Because here's the thing. You're perfectly in control to change your fate. The 10% of you sitting here listening to me, the 10% of me here, Erica here, Moxie here, that's our conscious. There's another 90% of you in the background, your subconscious, that's sitting there judging and deciding, is this safe information? Is this pertinent to me? Can I do anything about it? Oh, it's unfamiliar, so I'm gonna not regard it because I can't do anything about it. And I know I'm seeing Erica nodding her head, so I know she's talked about this to you, this wonderful audience that's listening in. What's different from my approach is when we move and your body starts to feel safe, which is where a lot of your subconscious is housed, it is much more willing to work and look at the loops that you're stuck in for safety. All right. My safety loop, which was, let me serve people so I'm useful, so you keep me around. Once I got rid of that, it became a different twist. So now my subconscious helps me be the most all-encompassing server, because I know I can do it, and I know I bring joy to people in their lives. And I know that that's part of my sole passion, my sole purpose in this lifetime where I am here now. It's a different perspective. And when I do it, people feel 10 times more than before when I serve from fear. So my clients, because I've had so many different ones, I first started serving clients who were also breast cancer survivors like myself. We were released with no support. We'll see you in 6 months. We'll see you in a year. Why don't you join the social work group? And we would all meet and not have anywhere processing our survivor guilt, our over busyness, we couldn't leave. Right? Our physicality was affected. I have pretty moderate to severe neuropathies in my arms and legs, right? Erica's nodding, because they kind of have to kill you to save you. And then the repercussions from it, what do you do with that? I broke a toe once walking down the hallway because I couldn't feel below my knee and swung my leg out too far and slammed it into a doorway and broke a toe. Hello, I'm a dancer. What do I do now? The Dance to Heal program, once we've gotten you more physically in your body, then because you trust me more, or you trust the process more, my clients, I've had an artist who was a biologist. I had someone who worked in construction who did dance on the side. I have a woman who is full-time home with her son who was just diagnosed with autism. And she's a full-time mom, and she does a lot of volunteer work. I have another mom who's a sole breadwinner of her family, and she owns and runs her own business. The overlying theme amongst all of them are that they're super moms, over busy, not ever giving themselves permission to stop and rest and do self-care. So they're ignoring everything in their body, telling them, we need this, we need that. They're ignoring it until it becomes a scream.
And that, I mean, listeners, you've heard me say this, boundary management, right? We have to take care of ourselves before we can take care of others. And if we don't stop that over busyness, as Jenny was saying, we can't help anybody, not even ourselves, right? We have to make time for self-care, for self-love, set those boundaries, communicate them, and keep them, right? And understand that boundaries change over time. What may have been okay with you a year ago may not be okay with you now. And that's fine, but you need to communicate those boundaries and make sure that they're going forward. And this is just one more area where you need to set that time aside to do it for yourself.
I love that, Erica. I mean, seriously, we cannot be everything to everyone until we are that for ourselves.
Yes. And how we set those boundaries shows people how we need to be loved, treated, respected. And if we're not willing to do that for ourselves, no one else is going to do it for us. And no one else is going to give that. So we have to love ourselves enough to set those boundaries and take that action. And this is just one more way we do that. And I think it's and I love it because, again, you're connecting, and we've talked about this, listeners, as well, as that mind, body, spirit connection, right? It's all intertwined. I might be stressed out. Well, if I'm stressed out, why? Is it finances? Is it health? Is it, well, now I'm stressed out because of these things. Now I can't sleep. Well, now I can't sleep. Now I am physically exhausted and I can't do. Everything is connected, right? That affects your emotional state, your mental state. Everything is connected. And so when we understand that, and we can move forward to say, be present, be in the moment, be mindful of what we're doing, what we're taking in, right? Not just who we're around, what we're listening to, what we're eating, what we're drinking, everything. Be mindful of the present moment we're in, and then take those actions that we need to make that whole body connection.
Absolutely. Your body will tell you what you need if you are listening. So that's the key. And how do we listen? When we're present. Otherwise, there's a lot of things we need to be doing besides our own self-care. I did not realize I had severe sleep apnea until I got present and I was willing to address it. Folks, I wasn't breathing 50 times an hour. Like, goodness, where did that come from? Right? And yeah, I mean, another thing, I gained a lot of weight after menopause, a lot of weight. And I'm a professional dancer prior to going into this entrepreneurship. And it wasn't that I minded how my body looked. I minded how my body felt. It felt different. I was so disconnected. I wasn't paying attention to what my body needed. So it started to overcompensate to try and protect itself. These days, right, most of us hate the scale. I love my scale because when I get on that scale in the morning and I'm either steady or if I gained weight, I'm so sorry to get explicit, y'all, but like if I've gained weight, I'm like, did I drink? Did I poo? Like, did I do my self-care? And my body will tell me through my scale, yes, you did, or no, you did not. And then I will stop immediately and reassess, how do I frame this day so I am taking care of myself first?
Yeah, and I love that because it is about being mindful, being present, taking care of yourself in all aspects. And I find it interesting. Sometimes people say, well, I don't have time. And I mean, I've been caught in that. I mean, I'm not pointing fingers, guys. I've done it myself. Is I don't have time. All right. So why don't I have time? What am I doing that's taking up my time? And is that the best use of my time? And, most of the time it's, nope, guess what I was doing? I just binge watched a show. I could have done a whole bunch of things in that 3 hours that I sat there and watched 3 episodes or whatever it might be. And you'll find that you have time for things that are important to you. And
I love that.
You need to take a look at that. Do your time management. Time management is more than just, carving out time. It's what are you putting in your schedule? And you wouldn't cancel a doctor's appointment for a child or for, if you're a caregiver, you're a caregiver to yourself. Why are you canceling that, that workout appointment, that mental health appointment, that downtime appointment, unplugging? So
yes.
I love that.
Oh my gosh, Erica, you hit it on the button right there. Unless you're present, you won't know what you need to do. I mean, this morning before our interview, I could have spent 4 hours at the desk and because I've been trying to do painting. I like to do painting on the side, and I could feel my body kind of angry at me that I didn't come through with that promise. So I cleared my schedule. My daughter has classes on campus. She's an art major. So I went with her and I just painted for 3 hours outside. And it was this feeling of peace when I was doing it, instead of this, oh, you're doing this, you shouldn't do that, you should be doing blah, blah, blah. Nothing. There was just silence as I was doing it because my body was so happy. I didn't feel guilty, right? I could have been really feeling guilty. My past would have been feeling guilty. And because we've gotten myself to a state where I'm listening and my mind gets quiet because it knows my body is happy that I'm playing. I did not like play before, Erica. I didn't know how to play before, and I had to spend a lot of time learning how to do that. If you had a childhood where you didn't play or were not allowed to play, you were parentified, meaning expected to act like an adult. As a child, it is imperative you play. This is your wake-up call if you're hearing this. Get rooted with Erica, come to my Dance and Heal class, and play. Gosh darn it, you gotta play every day.
Yes.
Got to.
Oh, you do. You do. I think that is an important message for folks to hear, is that sometimes we don't play enough, especially if you're the over busy, right? You're constantly, you rate yourself or you judge yourself on how much productivity you have done. Did I get this done? Did I advance here? Have you played? Have you had that enjoyment? What are the things that bring you joy? And have you done them? And if you haven't, we need to work on that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss helpful takeaways and we're going to do an exercise in getting present. This is Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. If you missed any of the information during the last segments, go to getrootedradio.com to listen to the replay. Don't forget to subscribe, sign up for tips and special events, and pricing for upcoming coaching sessions at getrootedradio.com. Welcome back to my guest, Jenny C. Cohen. Jenny, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Erica.
So during today's episode, we've talked about a lot of different things. We got to know you a little bit better, understand how Dance to Heal got started, how it can benefit, and also the outside of mastery as well. But during this segment, I would love for you to share with listeners some best practices, some of the programs you have coming up, and then we're going to get into a exercise on getting present so folks can start this process actually right now.
So some best practices, we always have people who love to learn on their own, and I want to give you some options. I had a book that was launched in January called Outside in Recovery, Dancing My Way Back to Myself After Breast Cancer. And it does outline the discover process. One of them most important for me that I'm starting to see more in social media, I'm so excited about this, is the acknowledgement that anger is a healthy emotion to feel. If you hold on to your anger or refuse to acknowledge it, it can actually become a poison in your body. So it's super important to acknowledge that, and that's part of one of the processes. One of the other processes in the discover process is getting present, which I will go into later. I also had talked about the free class or the free masterclass that's happening on Sunday on the 23rd of this month at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. If you go to danceandr.jennyccohen.com, you will have access to that course. You can also go to danceandheal.com for my gift class. That's 1 hour, 30 minutes of a cardio dance class, and then 30 minutes of a stretch class that helps you release energies trapped in your fascia system. And I want to really reiterate one thing that we talked about, Erica, prior, which is the use of play has a way for you to get in touch with your inner child. Everyone sees trauma differently. Some of us may see one situation as not a big deal, and then the very same situation someone else in their childhood would perceive it as a very big event in their own perspective. Because we can't really time travel with you back to when you were a child, it's safer to say to you right now, listener, unless you had parents when you were born that came with a safety manual, like a, what is that European furniture store?
IKEA.
Yeah, unless you came with an IKEA manual when you were born, right? There was some time when your parents had to figure out your unique way of needing to be parented. So there were moments when you felt powerless, and then you had to come up with some unconscious reason why, so you could have some type of control again. And it was never against your parents, because we can't control them, so we can control you. Play will help you get in touch with that part of you and give you back the control. That's really important. And then lastly, if I have your permission, I'm going to get everyone started on my little get present exercise.
Yes. So listeners, if you don't catch this all right now, don't forget, you can listen to this on replay. So make sure that you kind of note where in this, it's the last segment of the podcast. So if you need to replay this, just go back on, download the podcast, download the YouTube, and you can replay this. And Jenny, it's all yours.
All right. Moxie has given me permission to add music. So I'm going to play some music. You're going to start to hear it come up. And as you tune into this music, I want you to feel your butt on the seat, your feet on the floor. Feel your clothing on your body. Let your clothing feel you. Tune into your sense of smell. I always have Earl Grey tea. I love the bergamot oil in it. You can think of the smell of roses. Bring in your sense of taste. I actually have clients who love the taste of butter. So I'm like, all right, smell your roses, taste your butter. Me, it's always Earl Grey tea. Listen to the music I've pumped through the sound system. Feel your clothing. Now you're going to keep your eyes open and tune into your peripheral vision. That means your eyes are softly gazing in front, and yet you can see everything to the side of you. Let that visual field wrap all the way around. So now you see all around you. You're smelling your favorite smell, tasting your favorite taste, hearing the music, feeling your body in your clothing. Inhale for me and exhale. The music's going to ask your body, or your body's going to respond to it. Try swaying to your right, to your left, to the right, to the left. Beautiful. Inhale. Great job. Now your arms are going to float up, up, up. Arms are going to float up. Your palms are going to face each other. Now eyes are going to stay open, and even though your eye gaze is right in front, you're going to see your arms waving on your side view, your peripheral vision. Beautiful. Inhale and exhale. Smell, taste, hear my music. Feel your weight shift. Beautiful. Inhale and exhale. Come center, and you're going to do little circles with your hands. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Now you're going to weave your wrists side to side, overlapping. Here we go. In and out, and in and out, and little ripples all the way down, hands onto your lap. Inhale, exhale, smell, taste. Eyes are open, hearing. Feel your body. Last inhale and exhale. Beautiful job. How do you feel, Erica?
Amazing. And it's funny is because before you even said to move, I felt myself. I was already moving back and forth. And you paid attention to what you were doing. And it's a great tool to get present.
Yeah. So I want to differentiate between when we react angrily to something versus when we make time to feel anger and release it. All right. So there's a difference between the two, so that if you're reacting emotionally charged to a situation, if you do this exercise, it'll bring you present, and you can be like, oh, am I reacting presently, or is that old part of me reacting to the situation?
Yeah. I love that. That is so important. So this is, again, something that you can use when you're stuck, you're upset, you're angry, right? Any of those sort of things that you need to bring yourself back now to the present. So if you didn't get a chance to go through this, maybe you were driving when you're listening to this. I know a lot of listeners are driving and they're listening at the same time. So once you get to a point where you can listen, take the time, go over it, make that time for yourself. It was only about a couple minutes. Yeah. So thank you so much. Tell listeners one more time how they can reach you and how can they learn more about your services.
Feel free to find me anywhere and message me that you were on Erica's program on any social media, Instagram, Facebook under Jenny C. Cohen. And you can also try out my new free classes at danceandheal.com or come to the webinar June 23rd, 1 p.m. Mountain Time at dancenar.jennyccohen.com.
Thank you so much, Jenny, for being on the show today. I appreciate all your time, and I know listeners have benefited a great deal from your message. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you all for tuning in on Get Rooted Radio. If you missed any of today's episode or you want to listen again, go to getrootedradio.com for the podcast. And don't forget to tune in the first and third Monday of each month at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Pacific right here on Transformation Talk Radio. And if you are ready to live it up, love it up, and let it go, join me for my 12-week group coaching sessions. You can message me directly here. You can go to my website at getrootedradio.com and sign up for a free power hour to discuss the chances that you can to live it up, let it up, live it up, love it up, and let it go. Thank you for tuning in. Have an amazing day, and I look forward to the next time on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills, living it up, loving it up, and letting it go. Visit getrootedradio.com if you have missed any part of this hit show, and tune in on transformationtalkradio.com to live fearlessly in your more and powerfully rooted in your unlimited yes. For more information and to work with Erica directly, visit getrootedradio.com. That's getrootedradio.com, and get ready to live it up, love it up, and let it go.